What's up, everybody? This is Betamax. My name is Fidel. Joining me on this episode is a longtime friend of mine, owner of Unite and Win Tattoo Shop and Unite and Win Tattoo Supply, Wayne Fredrickson.
Welcome.
Betamax.
Yeah. See?
Right. Yeah,
As long as it doesn't go red.
Will it pick up your movie in the background?
Yeah, but I turn it off.
Oh, okay, word.
Isn't it? It says just a video. It says YouTube channel that I follow called
Just cinematic moments.
It's called The Beauty of, and it just shows like beautiful shots from different movies.
What TV is this?
This is the LG Smart TV, 75-inch.
I like that shit. I got Phil's like the whole wall. Looks nice.
Yeah.
Yes, you don't want me to have anything like that.
No?
Nah, she likes a small TV.
Really?
She's a small person.
Yeah, that's true.
Narrow little field of vision with her little head, dude.
I kind of want to get like a pull-down screen.
Oh, a projector thing?
Like a projector.
Like a short throw projector?
Yeah.
I looked in those, and every year, the problem is every year they get so much better than the year before.
Oh, really?
And we were going to get one when we lived in the apartment, the Canyon Crest spot.
Yeah.
And I bought like on, I think it was eBay or Amazon. It was like 175. It was like a 9-foot wide screen that pulled down. And our living room was set up weird because when you look, it's so hard to fucking me articulate. But if I'm in the kitchen looking out, there was a window straight ahead. There's a window right there. There was a sliding glass door to to go out to the porch, and another window. So the only place you can put a TV, you'd want to put a TV right there in front of the window. That's kind of whack. So you had like a little wall, like a little 9-foot wall to put one. But if you're watching TV in the daytime, you have light coming in from your left and from behind you.
Yeah.
So it wasn't really like a good watching experience. And so I figured we had high ceilings. I'm like, I could pull down that screen and that whole wall, boom, done, and then get a short throw projector. You could watch from the dining room, whatever. And I bought this big ass screen, and then the projector I bought got discontinued, and it had some recall, and then never sent out to me. Like I ordered it right when it was done being. Yeah. It was a whole thing, and we're stuck with this giant projector screen, and it was just too hectic, and so we ended up returning it. I didn't do it, and then now every year I see a new projector that's short throw, this, that, all the big buzzwords, but I don't know what's bullshit and what's good, and I don't know. I see that new one that Shaq is holding in his hand. It looks small.
Yeah, I've seen those.
How small is it if it's in Shaq's hand?
Yeah, that's true, right?
You're
I think it's
right.
probably massive.
Right. Yeah. So I don't know. I kind of get fooled by that shit too.
Yeah.
But that's my only thing. I want to do that too. But yes, he doesn't like a big screen TV. I have 65, and every time I go to I'm a sucker, man. I want the biggest fucking TV.
Dude.
Yeah.
I don't think I want anything bigger. I'm good with this one. Unless it's a projector screen. That's the only way I'll go bigger. Yeah. I don't want to get like an actual bigger TV screen.
You would throw your projector on the coffee table probably?
Well,
or would you mount it? It'd be kind of weird, right?
Well, I know I've read that there's these new projectors that you like put up against the screen.
Oh shit.
And it just projects up.
Wow. A lot of
those
them
are probably super expensive.
A lot of them have this new AI shit where you don't have to even center that thing. It'll be off and it'll crop in the area you want and it'll straighten itself out.
Yeah, I've seen those too.
That's crazy.
Because I've also seen like those little mini projectors.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
I want something like that for my bedroom because my bedroom is like dark all the time.
Yeah.
And then we don't really have room for a TV. I don't really want a TV in the room. I don't like the idea of having a TV in the room, but it would be nice to have the projector in the room would be dope. Room's always dark.
Yeah.
You know? But I feel like then I'd never go to my living room because I'd just be in bed all the time.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I have a TV in my room now, but I don't even remember the last time I turned it on. Yeah, because I'm always out here. So.
Yeah, I don't know. I want to do something. I'm getting really into like old TVs because I bought an N64.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, and I bought GoldenEye. I got Mario Kart. I got Excitebike 64. I got Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1. And I got some Rugrats Go to Paris, which kind of sucks. Spoiler alert, but it's a lot of work. Like it's just busy work for children. It's like labor. Like you go in the game and you have to walk around and collect these little tickets and stuff. And then you go to play a game. The game is fucking hard. It's like you have to shoot little targets, almost like Mr. Potato Head's thing at California Adventure. You're like shooting the targets, like that type of shit.
Yeah.
And then if you want to buy something, it's like, oh, that's 100 tickets. Like, I have to walk around and pick up 100. That's a lot of tickets,
Damn.
dude.
That is a lot of tickets.
So I couldn't get to get in that game. But I bought an HDMI or some kind of cord to go into my TV.
Yeah.
And it still looks like shit.
Yeah, I have one of those. I think my GameCube is right here. Yeah. I have one of those for my GameCube.
Yeah.
It's like an HDMI converter.
It can only look so good.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's not that much better on the tube TV, but probably a lot better.
Yeah, I feel like it would fit like the
Aspect ratio.
Yeah, and just I don't know, it would just feel better just to have it on a smaller TV.
I think so. Mine has it set up to where you can do it's square initially, and then you can switch it to 60x9, but just literally just stretches out the fucking picture.
Yeah.
And then but I saw the N64 I bought was a clear one, and then I saw on Facebook Marketplace a clear TV. It's like from a prison.
Oh shit.
And I'm like, damn, clear TV, the clear N64. But it doesn't have the because the prison TV doesn't have no extra like plug-in stuff.
Oh really?
Yeah, I don't think there's any access to be able to plug in extra cables to prison stuff. I don't know why. Yeah.
I wonder if there's a way to like modify it. Yeah.
Yeah, because clear TV would be sick.
Man, I wish I knew how to do that type of shit.
I know. I think. Have you seen people that would get what do they used to call that? They used to call it like audio hacking or something. Like people would get like, I remember Franny had told me about, but they'd get little toys and make them into synthesizers.
Oh yeah.
And they could get like all kinds of stuff and just make beats out of everything.
Yeah, that was tight.
That shit's sick. Yeah, I don't know. I want to get, but I've been looking on Facebook Marketplace, and people are like, now these TVs are getting expensive because they know people want them for retro games. And before, like, you still see them on the side of the road, right?
They don't even sell them at like thrift stores anymore.
Really?
Yeah, you get like the old plasma TVs at thrift stores now.
I've been seeing that, like, they'll have a thick ass border on the flat screen.
Yeah. It's like, no, I want like a little box TV, you know?
Yeah. I want to get like, it's just a matter of space, but I want to have like the big one where it's like deep, like a big,
like a heavy one?
Yeah, fuck it. The one that no one wants. That one with the N64 would be the shit.
That would be tight.
Regardless of time period, I've always wanted a big screen.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's flat. It's flat on the front.
Like those old school big screens that like you had like to pull down the front and they had projectors inside.
Oh right, I've seen that. I think those are like, I know I've seen online. There's, I don't remember seeing those in real life, but I remember those reverse throw ones where they're deep and it's like a screen. It's shooting it in reverse from behind the screen, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. I never had like a cool TV growing up. I grew up, all the shit I had was old because mom took care of everything.
Yeah.
So we have like a nice house, but we have old furniture, old TV, and it was like pristine.
Yeah.
But it was like from a time period before me. So I didn't have a flat screen TV till like probably like we lived together or something.
Really?
Yeah. I didn't have a smartphone until the iPhone 5.
Oh wow.
I was late because even I just didn't care for that stuff. My mom didn't understand technology, so then I just never had access to technology. I would use like my friend's computer at his house, and we'd go on AOL Messenger. He'd make my MySpace for me, but I didn't have a computer until I was an adult.
Oh wow.
So I'm like, even though I was born 1990, I feel like, I don't know. I feel like I was, I don't know, a little late to the game.
The late bloomer.
Yeah. I bought a Sidekick last year.
Really?
Because I never got one before.
So you just bought it just to buy
I'm
it?
gonna fucking get a Sidekick now.
Would you eBay or?
Yeah, fuck yeah. And then the week I bought it, they announced that the BlackBerry and Sidekick are no longer supported by the Android network.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I was gonna use it.
Really?
I had a legitimate plan. Yeah. I was ready, dude.
Dude,
Yeah.
that's fucking tight.
As techie as I am, I'm still got a lot of Tech Zinski in me. I just like, so I was wanting to do like, I don't know. Yeah, I just want to throw it all away. It's like one extreme or the other. But my idea with that was like, I was going to make my smartphone, like I'd keep it at work.
Yeah.
And then that would be my personal phone. And I could Instagram waste all the time if I had the time at work. And then my homies would have my Sidekick number. And then I could text on it on the keyboard and I could call on it. But I'm not like surfing the net, as they say. You know what I'm saying? So,
You know what I'm saying?
you know what I'm saying? Yeah, so I wanted to do that. But then I even really, and then they stopped making like flip like phones. They started making them like cool.
Yeah.
And then I seen like some new ones where like they make them to where they modify. There's a new flip phone, looks like an old flip phone, but it's got a touch screen on it.
Oh yeah, I've seen those.
No, not like new badass one. Looks like a Motorola Razr, like old Motorola.
Oh really?
Razr. Yes.
But it's touchscreen.
But the little screen is touchscreen, but still has a keypad underneath. I don't know if they're hacking
shit.
it or what. I don't know what it is.
Maybe it's like modded or something.
Yeah, but the thing is, if I'm gonna do that, I just want an iPhone.
Yeah, that's true.
All my old should be old. New should be new.
Yeah.
So I thought about that. I can get like those. I see those ads all the time for those retro gaming devices of every game, but I don't know what's bullshit and what's real.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't
Get
wanna...
something and there's like nothing but bullshit on there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I had a friend that bought one of those, and it was like a bunch of like games I'd never heard of, and they're all basically Dig Dug reconfigured different ways. And I was just like, it's just like, how do I Dig Dug myself out of a situation? Yeah, I love Dig Dug, but just Dig Dug.
Just Dig Dug.
Yeah, exactly.
Just not all these like 1,000 variations of it.
Yeah, man. Yeah, so I don't know. I get in these obsessive loops, and I'll just like want to buy like every N64 game, or I just get like, I don't know. I'm growing up to understand myself, to know that it's a problem. Like if I get super into something, I know it's like a 6-week period, and I'll get over that weird manic obsession.
Yeah.
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 Do you get that way with stuff?
Yeah. No, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I get like that sometimes.
It's embarrassing because Yessie knows it, and so I'll be afraid to tell her the thing, because I got the N64, right, and I was on OfferUp like crazy, and I was like, I'm on OfferUp too much. I had like just huge saved categorized albums of shit I'm not gonna buy. I'm just digitally collecting the NFTs off OfferUp, not gonna buy anything. And I'm just like, ooh, got this car saved, not gonna buy that, like. But if I hit the lottery, I have a shopping list, right? And so I got rid of OfferUp because all the ads on it, and it was wild.
Yeah, there's a lot of ads on that.
Yeah, and I just couldn't bring myself to pay for the thing, and I was just like, whatever. And then so I got on Facebook Marketplace, whole nother level.
Really?
So
a lot of
sick.
people have been telling me about Facebook Marketplace. I don't use, the only time I use Facebook is because of the podcast.
But the problem with Facebook Marketplace is that no one's playing shit on there. They're not even trying to sell their shit. On OfferUp, you being a lowballer is built into the culture of OfferUp. You're not an asshole if you offer half the price and they laugh at you and say no. Facebook, they're like, no, not playing it. Yeah. And there's also a lot less stuff available, but it feels more real because you can see the person's Facebook profile.
That's true.
It feels a little more legitimate of sale.
Yeah.
But I saw some arcade game, and I'm like, that's a childhood dream to have like an arcade, like
a whole cabinet.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah. Oh hell yeah.
And I see like the 1-up new ones. Like, yeah, that's cute.
Or like the ones you can get at Walmart.
Yeah, I want the one. I want the, you know what I mean? Mm. But then some of these ones people are trying to get rid of. Like they're sitting on them. It's big as fuck. It's like their flat screen TV. No one fucking wants it. People that do want it, they're gonna get the bootleg one with all the games built in.
Yeah.
And I'm like, damn, if I could have Time Crisis 2, if I could have Cruising America.
Oh shit.
If I could have Duke Nukem. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I'd see these games and I'm like, damn, if I had space, I'm like, I could have like an arc. And I start thinking about like I'm saving all these arcade games that I'm never gonna get. But I'm like, but that's my recent one.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's my recent obsession.
Arcade cabinet.
Yeah, and then before that was stereo equipment. I got my JBL 100s, and I got a whole new stereo stack. But I just had it. Man, that's a problem too. You know what I mean? Speakers is a whole world.
I've just finally minimized to just the record player, and I just use my soundbar now. Because I don't know if you remember, I had like that old school record player with like the stereo receiver, the tape deck, and the multi-CD player, dude, and just the old school speakers attached to it. It just took up so much space.
Don't come to my fucking house, dude. If you hear my JBLs, I'm gonna fucking ruin your life. You're gonna be instantly like, you're gonna be on Facebook Marketplace typing in JBL. You're gonna be like, Wayne, are these ones good? You're gonna be on Reddit looking them up. Like, dude, it's crazy. I think that we got so used to bad sound quality. Yeah. Just built-in speakers and everything. And the cell phone's loud enough. And our car already has a good enough stereo. Yeah. To where we forgot. So when you do get good speakers, it's like, oh my God, I didn't know it felt like this.
Yeah.
Not even to be an asshole and play it loud, but to like feel it.
To feel it, yeah.
Dude, like it feels like I'm on an elevated foundation in my house and I feel it vibrate through my feet.
Really?
Yes. It's crazy. And there's certain bands that hit so good. Like specifically Homefront. Because they're like kind of synthy and but still kind of like punk rock, post-punk. Like that sounds really good. And you hear like the different sounds, like that sounds really good. And also like hip hop. Like like this is ridiculous, but like Project Pet sounds sick.
Oh hell yeah!
So good in the room. There's certain bands that like, and then punk sounds terrible. Like Conflict sounds like shit. Like it's like just, I love it.
Yeah.
But it's not a way to test speakers. But
Yeah.
like new wave or hip hop, oh my God.
Because it has all that bass in it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's super good. And I only had those 2 JBLs. That's it. And I got them on some sketchy website and they came out legit. They were like letting them go for cheap. I don't know if they had like a scratch on them or something. But yeah. Whole different world, man.
Whole different world.
Mm-hmm.
Damn, you're going to get me back into that game, homie.
There's a word for it and it ends with file and I don't like the way it sounds.
Oh, audio file?
Yeah, dude, not tight. Let's not do that.
Because of the negative connotation of file?
Yeah, I don't, I'm good on that. I don't like that. I just like sound.
Fan of sound.
Yeah,
There you
fan
go.
of sound.
Sound enthusiast.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, I just think it's a weird one. Yeah.
Because that's also applied to like people who love movies, cinephile.
Yeah, it doesn't sound good.
Yeah.
I'm just hearing the end.
Yeah.
Disregarding the beginning.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, yeah, it's pretty rough.
So can I ask you a question about your setup?
Sure.
So do you have, are you going into an SD card? Mm-hmm. No computer, just straight going off of it?
Yeah.
That is sick.
And then I just hook it up to the laptop and transfer the file onto the laptop.
Oh, so not SD card. It stores in
No,
there?
it is being stored in the SD
Oh,
card
but you
right
pop
now.
the SD card in there and you have the audio.
I just connect it straight to the laptop.
That's cool. I'd never used mine like that because I have mine set up to my computer, so it's all it all plugs in through OBS.
Yeah.
And then it just goes. But since it stores, I have it set up going through OBS, so when it saves, it's just a video with the audio file on there. Mm-hmm. So I have both audio files together. So it kind of sucks because like if someone's a little quiet, I can't really turn them up in post.
Oh.
And I'm sure I could figure my way out around that, but I just haven't taken the time. I just like the press and go and not worry about it type idea, you know?
I know you were telling me you want to implement like call-ins or like Bluetooth.
Yeah, I kind of saw a video on that, and it doesn't seem hard like you said at all.
No, it's not.
Yeah,
once you figure out how to do it, it's pretty simple.
I saw that the one he did, like he plugged in physically. He said you have to make sure your phone is turned all the way up, and then he said if you do Bluetooth, you just connect it and it's ready to go.
Yeah.
It was some YouTube video. He like called his wife in the other room, and it worked out fine. I think that would be really fun. Have you ever tried that with yours?
No, I haven't, but that does sound like something like that would be cool to do.
It could be a really cool thing you could do with your friends, like, oh, we haven't talked to so-and-so in a while. And you know, like they're too afraid to come on your podcast or whatever.
Yeah.
Call them up.
Yeah.
And then have them stuck on the phone for a little bit with you guys.
Yeah.
That'd be a good thing.
Yeah, because I do have like some friends like out of state.
Yeah.
That I would love to have on. So
yeah. That's cool.
That'd be a good way to implement that.
When you upload, do you use like a third party? Like I use Simplecast and it uploads to everywhere for me, or do you go straight to Spotify, or how do you do it?
Straight to Spotify, and then it distributes it to everything else.
From Spotify does that? Really?
Yeah, it's like a new thing they did because there was this other website called Anchor.
Okay, I remember that.
Yeah, Spotify owns it now.
Oh shit.
So yeah. So it's just called Spotify for podcasters now.
Yeah, I remember years ago, people were advertising like you could do it from your phone, and like they're trying to make it. That makes sense. Okay, yeah, the one I use, I might look into that because I pay like $10 a month or something like that for Simplecast.
It's free.
Damn, yeah, I should do that.
It's free. That's why, because before I had it on SoundCloud, but I had to pay that monthly.
Right.
So there was I was like looking up a way how to transfer everything without having to re-upload stuff.
Yeah.
And it was so easy, dude.
Huh.
It was so easy.
Yeah, as I do on Simplecast, I just I just go on there, log in, and it knows what my next episode number is, and I just put the title, and then I just drag the MP3 in there. It doesn't take long, and I can schedule the upload. So I have an upload going tomorrow, like at 7 a.m. And it'll put it to. It used to iHeartRadio, but it doesn't do iHeartRadio for me anymore. I don't know if I need to re-sign in to iHeartRadio or what, but it does. It does like Google and then Apple and Spotify and then a bunch of random ones I never heard of that people listen to.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of surprising, like ones I never heard of, like, oh damn, someone listens to me on Chatbox or whatever the fuck.
Oh yeah, I've seen that one. It also does the audio only to YouTube as well for people who just use YouTube.
Huh.
So like all of our episodes like are audio only on there too. And it automatically does it.
Do you just upload just a solid screen, a photo or something for YouTube?
Yeah, it just whatever like
The
episode
thumbnails?
art you put or whatever, it'll automatically. And then you could go on YouTube and edit it yourself.
Yeah, okay. That's kind of cool. I like that. My preferred listening place is YouTube.
Yeah, it's becoming a lot more popular, especially like for the type of music, really. Like,
yeah.
because they're all like the OG Power Violence shit is on there.
Oh my god, yeah.
Like you can't find any of that.
Yeah.
Like Infest, you can't listen to Infest on Spotify or anything.
Yeah, so many times I go to try to like tell someone, well, even weird things like there's this chick I like on Dias Records, Ricky, and
I've seen Ricky perform with Cold Cave.
oh, you went to the fucking what's it called, that festival thing?
No. It was like Cold Cave's anniversary show or something.
That's cooler.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought you were
so
talking
it was just
about,
Cold Cave, Ricky, and there's one other group I can't remember.
we're talking about the Rose Bowl thing that they do. The
Oh no, I didn't go to like Darker Days or something.
she was
like
whack. Yeah.
I didn't go to that.
Yeah, she's dope. But like, I guess he couldn't find her on. I was like, oh, put on Earth Song. That was the name of the song. Yes, he couldn't find it at all, and she found some other thing from her, and then eventually got to it. But it was just weird and clunky, and I feel like YouTube, I could pop it right up. I don't know, and I don't know. Maybe I'm a sucker paying for Simplecast and YouTube, but I like not having to. I pay the $10 a month, so I don't have to watch the ads.
Oh, on YouTube?
Yeah.
Oh, game changer.
Yeah.
Because there was a point where, because I watch a lot of YouTube,
and I listen to YouTube, so I'll go on Instagram, the YouTube will still be playing in the background, or in my car, I'll just have YouTube. And if they say something in the podcast, I want to see it, I can go peek at what they're talking about real quick. So I definitely prefer the video aspect. Even if I'm not watching it, I want the option to be able to rewind and see, you know?
Yeah, I think the YouTube music is so much better.
Yeah.
Especially for finding like hard to
It
find
makes pretty good playlists for you too.
Yeah.
Yeah. It'll kind of ruin stuff though. It ruined like Ammo and the Sniffers for me. It played it so much, and it was just like, oh, I don't know what they got going and why they're so preferred. I love that band, but it showed me like, oh, my YouTube top listened to, they were number one. That wasn't by choice. I hate that band now. Like, they played it so much.
Played it so much.
But I turn on and it immediately has like, you know, high vis and stuff, and I can't play that out at all. I'm in love with them.
Oh, High Vis is so good.
They're like up there for me. Definitely one of my favorite bands right now for sure.
Do you know what band the singer used to be in?
Dirty Money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That shit blew my mind when I found out.
Yeah. I found out from Evan. I was talking about High Vis, and then I was telling him like, I want to know their story. Like, where did they come from? Like what is their story? Like this band just came out of nowhere. It couldn't have. Like, how does this sound exist? This is like this weird post-hardcore Oasis for hardcore kids thing. Like, I need to understand. You know everyone in the band and where they all came from. And then Evan figured it out and sent that to me, and I'm like, oh shit, I did that split with Trapped Under Ice and stuff. So I'm not cool. I found out about it after I already liked High Vis. I didn't know about it before. Yeah.
Yeah, no, because I remember listening to him. I was like, man, this guy's voice sounds so familiar.
God, he's so good.
Yeah, like
so good.
I love that you brought up the whole like Oasis for hardcore kids.
Did you watch the Outbreak Festival in Manchester they played?
No.
I've watched that set 6 times.
Really?
Yeah, I watched it yesterday. They open up with Oasis Morning Glory.
Oh shit.
It's so good. And then it goes bam, bam, goes right into Choose for Lose as like their intro.
Yeah.
It's fucking crazy.
It's
such a good set. And then I was I heard the singer, he did like an interview recently, and he was talking about how that was the set that was their best set. That was a set that kind of like the first set that like, oh my God, people like us. Whoa. And they took off from that kind of set. But yeah, that set is crazy. I don't watch a lot of live concerts, but I've watched the fuck out of that set.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna send it to you right now before I forget. Just so you, because we'll both forget. But it's so worth watching, man. So worth watching.
So, Wayne.
That's my name. What's up?
How long have we known each other?
We've known each other for 2008 or 9.
Yeah?
When do you think? I knew you acquaintedly in high school. Got to know you when I was out of high school. That was 2009.
Okay.
And now
so roughly give or take 16 years.
That's crazy.
That is crazy.
Yeah. It honestly, time just flies by, and the older we get, the faster it goes. And my dad always told me that, and that is like nothing's been truer than that. Every year is faster than the last. Now I plan a year as if I would a week.
Yeah.
But in a way, I don't plan shit because I also don't really like the like when you sent me those oh dude, Hatebreed's playing this and that. And I'm like, that's kind of far away. How far is it?
It's October.
That is kind of far away. Okay, I feel good about that. But yeah, I feel like I just don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know time, but then it's gonna be before I know it.
It's gonna come up quick.
I know.
You gonna go?
I don't know. I feel like it's gonna suck.
Probably, but
I feel it's gonna be like racist construction workers push moshing.
I want to see that.
Yeah. That was the first hardcore band I ever liked.
Hatebreed?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think me too, without knowing that they were a hardcore band.
Same. I thought it was just metal.
Yeah.
I didn't know. I just didn't know why no other metal band didn't sound like that.
Yeah, because I remember I was telling the story to, I think I was telling Anna, my girlfriend, but I was like, yeah, I remember I was a sophomore and I was in my math class and I had a Slipknot shirt on because that's all I ever wore was fucking Slipknot shirts. And I remember this kid came up to me. He's all like, "Oh, you think Slipknot's like the heaviest band ever, or what?" And I was like, "Fuck yeah, they are." He's all, "Nah, Slipknot fucking sucks." And I was like, "Nah, hell no, Slipknot's heavy as fuck." He's like, "Nah, you know who's heavy? Hatebreed." And I was like, "That sounds stupid." And he's like, "Nah, fuck, nah, man. Hatebreed's fucking tight." I remember he was like some older like white kid with like really blonde, like bright blonde spiky hair. Can't remember his name.
On brand, yeah, I can see that.
But he ended up letting me borrow. I believe it was Perseverance.
Yeah.
And then I listened to it and I hated it. Because I used to have a CD player with me at school all the time.
Yeah.
That was what was in my backpack. I didn't even have like schoolwork or anything.
Right.
It was my CD player and a fucking binder full of CDs.
Yeah.
But I remember I listened to it during class and then I gave it back to him and I was like, "This sucks." And he's like, "What?" I was like, "All that he's doing is yelling."
Oh, I loved it.
Yeah, and no, he's like, "No, man, sit with it.
Yeah.
Like, take it home, sit with
Yeah.
it." And I couldn't stop listening to it. I was like,
The lyrics are so good, too.
yeah,
Yeah.
like he's so like positive, you know,
Yeah.
which
for
is
sure.
fucking crazy to
Oh my
think like
God.
the music is so aggressive. But I remember thinking like, "Nah, you know what? This is tight."
Yeah.
And I was just, I remember I told Cisco. And Cisco, he was like, "Oh yeah, I heard about that band. I burned a CD, like, but I didn't like it. Do you want it?" And it was a Perseverance, but it was a burnt CD. So, dude, I fucking played the shit out of that thing.
Yeah. They made Flames cool, dude.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. I had that shirt with the skulls on it. I wore that every day. That's how I became friends with Victor, because he saw that T-shirt and he's like, "You listen to hardcore?" And I'm like, "What's that?"
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I had no idea. I just was like, "Oh, I just like this," you know? And I think around that time, he was more into like the metalcore stuff, which I don't like that stuff.
Yeah, I got deep into metalcore stuff.
Yeah, I couldn't do it. I think around that time I was like, it wasn't for me at all. And I got into punk, and then from punk I got kind of into hardcore later, like in the order it would go.
Yeah.
You know? So I got into hardcore from punk, but I technically was into hardcore before punk because I could have easily become one of those metalcore people because I loved metal and then I liked Hatebreed, so I was going that way and I steered back away. Never got into it.
What was the band that got you into punk?
I don't know what bands really count because like it's unfair to not count Pennywise, Bad Religion, whatever, because it's successful. But
Yeah.
It was just radio music to me. It was just rock and roll. I didn't know it was how I didn't know Hatebreed wasn't hardcore. I didn't know that was punk either.
Yeah.
And everyone gets into it from like our generation would be like Tony Hawk Pro Skater or whatever.
Yeah.
But again, I didn't really know. I think it was JT and he burnt me a CD and it had like the Casualties and the Exploited and it had Misfits. It had Misfits with Michael Grave and with Danzig. It's kind of funny. And I actually preferred the Dig Up Her Bones song.
That song's sick.
I was like, that's a good ass song. But I didn't ever like anything else from him. But then it was like Danzig was the only Misfits for me, but I love that song still.
Yeah.
And then and I was like, okay, cool. Yeah, I like this, I didn't like this. And then I started going to Sounds Like and buying the CDs of patches I would see.
Yeah.
So I'd be like, oh, like what's Disclose? You know, I'd like
Yeah.
go buy the used CD, or I'd buy the, you know, Punkorama, you know, CD with all the stuff on it, and it was kind of getting into a little bit of everything. And then it was like such an exciting new world, especially like Brandon Crawford. He was like, had a computer and knew how to download music. He had like everything ever. So he
Yeah.
like hooked up my iPod, like everything from Limp Bizkit to Ulcer
Fuck
to
yeah.
Britney Spears. You know what I mean?
Fuck yeah.
And it was just like, whoa, it's exciting. And I think it was initially like, I would go the way I get in these little obsessions right now. That was with music. So it'd be like, okay, right now I'm only into 77 punk, and then right now I'm only in the UK 82 stuff, and right now I'm only into. And it was kind of funny. I'd go forward and then come back, and then from Oi I got into like old ska and reggae stuff, and then back to Oi, and it all comes full circle. It's so weird. Like there's all these like tough hardcore bands with Oi themes, but that's already been done with like Warzone, Gnostic Front. It's nothing new, you know.
Yeah.
So it's so funny how this scene like intermixes around all these different directions. But I would say like what really got me into punk, which made me a punk rocker, was seeing DI at the showcase.
Yeah.
And it was just like I bought their 2 cassettes they had there. It was Ancient Artifacts and Horse Bites, Dog Cries. And it was like, oh, this is my shit. And I got into like Agent Orange and Adolescence, and obviously from DI Adolescence. And it was like, okay, I like skate punk. I like Orange County skate punk. That's my thing. And I love TSOL. But then I was like, TSOL sounds different than these other bands. And then, and it was, that was like the beginning, I guess, for me, you know? And I still love those bands. TSOL's still like, I don't know, on the Mount Rushmore of punk rock for me. DI is up there too. I don't listen to DI too much anymore, but still iconic to me, you know? Yeah. And then I went through a whole thing where it's like, I think I was really into guitar music. I liked street punk a lot.
Yeah.
But now I prefer Oi and hardcore and hip hop because I like rhythm bass.
Yeah.
Opposed to like hair metal and street punk. Street punk is the hair metal of punk. And it's both very guitar heavy.
Yeah.
And I think I like how new wave or post punk will have the, you know, the rhythmy bass, or Tribe Called Quest will sample the bass, or like hardcore, obviously the bass is kind of the start to me, at least, you know?
Yeah.
So I think I prefer like bass over guitar.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now the street punk shit's kind of corny to me. Like now I still like love like the Exploited and stuff like that. When I listen to these old bands, it's like so nostalgic. But there's certain bands that just don't make the rotation anymore. You know what I mean? And then for some other reason, now it's like the greatest hits of my life, where now the genre doesn't really matter. Now it's not weird to listen to Joy Division, and then Elton John, and then High Viz.
Yeah.
And then like
Such a melting pot now.
Yeah, and it all makes sense to me, you know?
Yeah.
Like it's all my shit. And I think that the way I am with music now, I think that's the way everyone is with music right now.
Yeah.
I think everyone likes everything, but I think they actually truly do right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's why bands like High Viz exist right now. And Homefront too.
Yeah.
These genre mixing bands, I don't know, like High Viz could have existed before, but Homefront's very unique. Like, it's kind of like, oh, I like everything, and then you just make a band, and then it sounds. I feel like punk rock's in a really cool place right now. It's different.
Yeah.
And it feels safer and more inviting. It doesn't feel scary or tribal. Like I don't think anyone in high school experiences what we did with that kid being like, oh, that band sucks, or
Yeah.
oh, duh, duh. I don't think that exists. The kids of today will wear a band t-shirt. They don't even know the band just because they like the logo, and it's cool to be a poser right now.
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
It's like a style.
Yeah.
Like they'll go buy like a vintage NASCAR t-shirt for a lot of money and not like NASCAR. And just out of irony alone, or just cool graphic, or it's old so it's cool. I think that's super new.
Yeah, so for example, my girlfriend's daughter, obsessed with K-pop, loves like, she's only 12. It's going to be 13 this year, I believe.
Right.
Obsessed with K-pop, loves, you know, like little girl cartoons, stuff like that. Rocked a Cannibal Corpse shirt because she liked the design of it.
See, that wouldn't fly. I got to get like suspended or something. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I got suspended for wearing like, I don't know if I got suspended. I definitely had to I think I had to go home and change my shirt. It wore like a leftover crack like t-shirt, and it was like the one. It said "World Trade is a death machine," and it had like the buildings with the gas pumps on. It's crazy imagery. It's crazy. I get it, and like I feel like that was so weird. Like listening to "Choking Victim" and "Leftover Crack," like they made crack really cool. Like why am I singing about crack?
Yeah.
Like, fucking weird, man. Weird.
I remember those bands. I think Leftover Crack's playing soon.
They are. They are playing soon. I think they're playing really soon, like maybe in a couple weeks soon or a week soon. I think I just saw the flyer. It looks cool. I'd like to do that.
How do you feel about like a lot of these like older bands, like the resurgence of them, like them playing again and all the reunions and stuff?
I kind of roll my eyes at most of it, like because I know what it is, and I'm like, well, I missed it, and that's okay, you know. But some of it, I'm like, nah, I want some of that. It depends, you know. I think I definitely want to see the Addicts again before they're done. I know they've been doing it for a really long time, and I haven't seen them play in a while.
You know, I've only seen the Addicts once.
You did tell me that, actually. Yeah, I've seen them play a handful of times, but not anytime recently, that's for sure.
The one time I saw them is when they played the Municipal Auditorium.
Yeah, I didn't go to that one.
That was fun.
Wait, you're not... Okay, right there.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of the VFW thing in Fairmount Park. You didn't go to that one?
No, I didn't go to that one.
didn't go to that
I
one
remember
either.
that one, though, but
The
I didn't go
Municipal
to it.
Auditorium, that was on Halloween, right? A few years ago?
I think so.
I went to that one. That
I
was
think
when me
so.
and Tony dressed up like Nacho Libre, and he was my wrestling partner.
That's fucking tight.
Yeah, that was good. Yeah, that was the last time I saw them. That was probably like 6 years ago. That was a while ago. And then before that, I saw them a bunch when I was a teenager, but
Saw my showcase.
yeah, saw them at Showcase. I think the one band that, like, the one thing I want to see, even though it's on its way out, it's not gonna be that tight, is I feel like I have to see Iggy Pop before that's like over, you know. But I want to see him on my terms. I don't want to see him at a fucking festival.
See, that's why I'm like excited to see Hatebreed. Because
Yeah.
I've never seen Hatebreed.
Yeah.
And that is one of the first hardcore bands I got into.
Yeah,
So I'm like, I'm expecting it not to be great,
yeah.
but I still want to be there.
Is it still Jamie Josta?
Yeah.
Does he have facial hair now?
Yeah, he has long hair and he has facial hair.
The flyer threw me off. I was
Yeah.
confused by it.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Okay. Yeah, same. That's the band that got away. I would definitely like to see them. I don't know. I definitely kind of put off going to shows now because, like, when I started tattooing, it's just like it might be dead all week, and Friday and Saturday are the only days I'm going to make money.
Oh, yeah.
And so I think, yeah, me going to shows really slowed down when I was like 19, 20. And then I think I started growing kind of impatient and started like getting a bit of anxiety with shows to I'm like, you know what? I want to know the set list and I want to go in and just see the band I want to see and get the fuck out of there.
Oh,
like,
I see.
I don't want to stand around or like, I don't know. That's kind of changing. It's been, the last few shows I've gone to has been like, it makes me like, why don't I do this all the time?
Yeah.
I used to live for that. That was like
Yeah.
my favorite thing in the world. Like, how did I forget it? You know?
Remember when we took the Megabus to Oakland
Yeah, I'll never forget that. Yeah.
to see Infest?
Yeah. Everyone was there and Max was there. And then I remember Justin like drove down and he had that big old bucket of donuts, the voodoo donuts. Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That was a good time. Yeah, I love that. I love that trip. Yeah, with Capitalist Casualties at the Metro. That was good.
Yeah.
That was so cool. That was a cool time. That was so cool catching all those shows. Like them at the Che Cafe was fucking cool. And like,
Yeah, we went to all three of the reunion shows. Well, yeah.
It felt like so important, and it felt like I was so into that band.
Yeah.
And then it was like, and I feel like there was like this really cool power violence insurgence at that time, this resurgence at that time.
Yeah.
And it was really cool to kind of be a part of that because I felt like I had missed it.
Yeah.
And then with them coming back, and it was like, oh my God, like it felt so exciting,
Yeah, that was tight.
you know? And getting into power violence is like a deep cut too. It's special. So like when you see friends there, you know people that are into that, you know that you guys are really into that. No one's like casually into that. I don't think I tried. Speaking of ulcer, I mentioned earlier, I couldn't even find it on YouTube.
Really?
Yeah, that's a difficult thing to search.
I mean, I guess there is some stuff that
Yeah,
is just nowhere to be found.
yeah. I think that's why like owning music's so important.
Yeah.
You know.
I still have a shitload of music on my hard drive from my LimeWire days.
Really.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't keep that stuff forever. I think it's. I don't know. I want to start. now more than ever, I want to buy movies and buy records, and I think it's important to own that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been buying a lot more movies now.
Yeah.
Eddie's actually the one that got me into buying movies again.
That's cool.
Because, like, as far as physical media, I mean, records I've been collecting since 2007. So,
dude, like, I don't have a conspiracy to attach to this idea, but like ownership is just going away. Like, cash is going away. Everything is rented and leased. Like, you know, you lease your fucking car, you lease your house, and then everything you buy on Amazon, there's a 10% deal if you do it monthly, and then you pay for your music. You don't own music, but you pay to access music without ads on Spotify or YouTube. I pay for the YouTube one, and it's like, you know, like it gets to the point where like outside of our cell phone, like what do you actually like own? Like, what is your net worth? Like, what do you have to show for your time in this life? If you don't have your Netflix account, you don't have your movies anymore. If you don't have your fucking YouTube or whatever, then maybe you don't. What if your shit gets lost in the cloud that you downloaded?
Yeah.
Now you don't have your music anymore.
Yeah.
Like, I want to like, if I'm gonna buy something, I want to hold it. I'm anti NFT. I'm the real fucking thing. I'm RFT.
Real fucking thing. Oh, I like that.
Yeah, that's me. Yeah. RFT. Yeah, you know me.
So what was like, speaking of power violence, what was the band that got you into power violence?
That's a good question. Charles Bronson for sure.
Yeah?
Yeah, Charles Bronson for sure. And Scholastic Death. Yeah. Like really really resonated with both those bands a lot. Just skateboarding and just like, oh man. Yeah, I just think like I feel like power violence is so smart where it's like it's not like they're looping things 3 times over. It's just so straight to the point.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know, my attention span, like it really lended towards that, you know? I think, yeah, I don't know. Truthfully, I don't listen to a lot of power violence anymore. But I still put on Infest. I still put on DS13 quite a bit. But yeah, I don't know. Definitely it's been like more like chill music. And I think that's also because I listen to a lot of my music at work. And I don't feel comfortable listening to like really fast, aggressive music at work.
Oh, I see.
Just walk-ins and stuff. I don't want to weird them out.
Yeah.
You know, it's like super unrelatable.
Yeah,
know?
that's true.
Yeah.
Especially with like, because years ago, it would be like only a certain type of person got tattoos. You know what I mean?
Now it's everyone.
Now it's everyone. Yeah, it's everyone.
Yeah, I don't think it's really the best thing for those getting tattooed for everyone to feel the need to have one.
Yeah.
Because I think people who don't like tattoos want to get tattoos. It's a lot. Like they're like, oh, you know, I want to get tattooed, but I don't know what, and I might regret it. Don't do it.
Yeah, if you're second guessing it like that, like
yeah, if you're like, it's not for everyone. It's totally okay. Like, but this subculture has now become pop culture, and I don't think that's like healthy for a permanent decision.
Yeah.
I don't want to wear my bowl cut for kindergarten for the rest of my life. So it's like, I don't think that like, because it's hot right now to have a face tattoo, I don't know if it's the best decision to get.
Yeah.
And, so I don't know, maybe I'm just like jaded and I liked it better when no one liked it. And there is a part of that, I will admit.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just, it's tricky. I think it's a little bigger than it should be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What made you transition from piercing to tattooing?
Oh man, I never want to be a tattooer. I only want to be a body piercer. I didn't care about tattooing at all. Tattooing felt so like, I loved tattoos, but everyone had them. They didn't feel very special. They didn't seem unique. I didn't understand the like application of a tattoo or the artistry of a tattoo. I just liked tattoos of things that I liked. I knew that I would have tattoos.
Yeah.
And I got obsessed with body piercing in high school and body modification as a whole. And I'd go on like BME Zine and go to these like crazy subcategories and look at like stretched nostrils. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to stretch my nostrils one day. And I was obsessed with it. And it felt like a little less common. And then, and it just also just felt like it made sense with like sewing my own clothes and piercing myself. And like, it just was like a punk rock thing. I don't know. I loved it. And, I think after I got my very first tattoo, I was instantly like, whoa, that's an incredible thing.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't matter if the tattoo's good or bad. It's just this like whoa, that's there. Like that's valuable, you know? And that really like made me obsessed and I wanted to immediately tattoo. And I didn't see myself being a tattoo artist. I just, you know, DIY, did everything myself. So like, oh, I pierced myself. I want to tattoo myself and I want to paint my skateboard and sew my pants in tighter and like, you know, whatever. It's just like do it myself. So I didn't intend on being a tattoo artist at all. It was just another extension of like self-expression in that subculture, I suppose. And then I ended up going through a piercing apprenticeship, but I was already scratching with tattoos. But again, no intention on tattooing, just fucking around, finding out. That's it. Kept doing it. And then once I had taken like after my apprenticeship, I worked like a warehouse job for a while. And then I went into getting a job at a shop and I was like, okay, I can't fuck around with tattoos anymore. At that point, I was like, I respected tattooing. It wasn't like very frowned upon to be fucking around, making tats out of the house. And I didn't want to be a professional tattooer doing unprofessional tattoos. Yeah. Or a professional piercer doing unprofessional tattoos. I'm not sure if I said that right. So I was like, cool, I made it. I'm a piercer. And in the time of being at that shop, it was relatively slow. We're hanging out and I'm watching tattoos, talking tattoos, getting tattoos, looking at tattoos, drawing tattoos, doing a piercing a day if I'm lucky. Yeah. And they kind of offered me a tattoo apprenticeship. And it seemed like I'd already kind of messed around with it for a couple of years. I was enthralled in it. It made sense. And so I started apprenticing for tattoo. And then I started excelling in the world of piercing, I suppose. I was doing good. And I was buying my own jewelry and upping my game and things were going good. And it was weird because I didn't have, like, as much as people think the words tattoo and piercing are together, they kind of shouldn't be. They're just as closely correlated as hair color and tattoos. Yeah. You know, it's like, yeah, they're both body modification, but the act and the application, they couldn't be more different. Yeah. And oftentimes the clientele getting it and the experience that's provided, not the same either. Yeah. And so getting a piercing in a tattoo shop, playing loud music, and it's a little scarier getting piercing. A piercing, I think, requires a different type of bedside manner, and I personally get scared to get pierced. I don't get scared to get tattooed. Tattoo is more of a social thing for me. Yeah. And piercing is not for me when I receive a piercing. So tattooers look at piercers, they look down upon them. And piercers look at tattooers as they're like dirty and unprofessional. And tattooers look at piercers as like, they're nerds, they're too professional. Like, it's just, I don't know. And a lot of piercers that work within tattoo shops want to be tattooers or couldn't become a tattooer, became a piercer. Yeah. There's a weird thing there. And so when I was piercing and then I was going through my tattoo apprenticeship, my first tattoos in the shop, they weren't bad. Like, because I had a false confidence I probably shouldn't have. I'd already been messing with it for a couple of years. I've been watching and paying attention, and I learned quick. So tattooers looked at me like, oh, I'm just a fucking piercer. And then piercers were like, if you had to pick, would you pick piercing or would you pick tattoo? Or it was always like a ultimatum that either side would give me. And I never wanted to pick. But I knew that I got less respect for doing both. And I know that I lost opportunities for doing both. Because I would get an opportunity to work at a really good piercing shop, but I'd be hired there as a piercer. Yeah. Not a tattooer. Yeah. Or I could get a job at a good tattoo shop tattooing, but they have a shitty piercer there. And I can't like work in that shop if they're doing bad piercing, using bad jewelry. Like, and then I can't do both and this and that. And so I didn't choose. It chose for me. And what really happened was I got too busy tattooing to pierce anymore. And then and I started getting kind of nervous now to pierce. Cause I was like, oh man, I haven't done this piercing in a while. You know, it wasn't my daily, thing. Tattooing was. And I think I just became better at tattooing than piercing, more comfortable tattooing than piercing. Tattooing was easier than piercing was. Piercers will love hearing that. But yeah, tattooing was much easier for me. And it was also tattooing, I felt specifically with piercing, there's a lot of numbers, like a lot of measurements, and you have to really like be placing jewelry orders, and there's only a handful of companies that make good stuff, and everyone's ordering from the same company. Wait times can be long, and you got to make sure that you have every length in stock for every type of anatomy that could walk through the door.
Yeah.
And tattooing, I can virtually use that same 5-round liner to outline any walk-in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then when I started doing traditional, it's like I can kind of make any tattoo happen with black, brown, yellow, red, and green. So I kind of went from being a piercer of wanting to have all the options to being a tattooer that had no options. Of like, here's what I use, and then this dictates what I make out of it. And so it felt like less like a job. Piercing, I felt like piercing started to feel like a job. And tattooing never felt like a job. And so I don't think that I picked tattooing. I think it truly picked me. I think I got tattooed and it like changed my world. I was obsessed with it. And then I still wanted to pierce, and tattooing just kind of kept calling. And then before I knew it, I was a tattooer. And the craziest thing about piercing is that I don't miss it.
Really?
And it blew my mind because it was something I was so passionate about.
Yeah.
But as you know, I get obsessed with shit.
Yeah.
But that was it for me. That was a big deal for me. And I really didn't miss it at all, you know? And I felt guilty that I didn't.
Yeah.
I felt guilty that, I sold out. I moved past it. Like,
Yeah.
I'm the piercer that became the tattooer. Oh, blah. Of course he became a tattooer, right? And I think it could have gone other ways too. I think if you pick your own adventure book, if I would have went and taken a job as a piercer at a good shop, I would have still loved piercing. I would have loved piercing in that shop, and I would have excelled within that world further. And if I would have gotten a good job at a tattoo shop without piercing, I excelled in that. I truly think I could have done great at either.
Yeah.
And I felt like I was comparable. I felt like I was doing good at piercing. But yeah, man, the tattooing is it for me. I love it.
How long were you doing it when you tattooed me for the first time?
We were living together, and I think I was apprenticing at that time, and I would fuck around out of the bedroom. Not long. Yeah, maybe like a year or two or something. Not long at all. I don't think so.
Because I remember it took some coaxing.
Oh yeah.
From you and Amber.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I had talked about it. Like, yeah, I was in that camp, and I was just. Well, the thing for me was I don't know what my pain threshold was.
That's what you just need to find out. Like, you just need to jump in. You were almost there. You want it. You just needed that push.
And I remember like after the outline, I was like, let's just do the shading another time. And then you were the one that were like, dude, if you do that, you're not going to do it.
It's true.
It's like, you're not going to do it. Just get it over with.
I agree with that. Sounds like me.
Yeah.
I stand by that.
And I'm glad, because I remember after that, I had the itch, but it was just a money thing.
I never saw myself doing anything past punk rock logos. Like, I just wanted to do Out of Step Sheep and Subhuman Skulls, and I was cool just doing like poor quality like punk rock outlines. That was tight. I love that. I still love that. My tattoos I have like that. I love those tattoos, and I see tattoos like that. Those are the first tattoos I really loved. I never thought I would excel in tattooing in any way.
Really?
Yeah. And it's weird because people that don't get it, again, tattooing and piercing, they're the same thing to most people.
Yeah.
Most people will say like, oh, I knew you always wanted to be a tattooer and you always talked about being a tattooer one day. Bullshit. That's not true.
Yeah.
Like piercing for sure. Yes, I was obsessed. Tattooing, it was inaccessible. I didn't know anything about it. I wasn't like a kid that went to a tattoo shop or seen a tattoo. The first time I saw a tattoo happen was the first time I got one. Like, other than watching like LA Ink or whatever, like I had no access to that world whatsoever. And it wasn't I mean, I don't know. I didn't see it on social media. I wasn't following tattooers on MySpace. I don't know. And Instagram wasn't out yet, and I didn't have Facebook. So yeah, tattooing was just a thing I saw, you know.
Yeah.
But I got it's like the one thing I've never really gotten over, you know. Like I've never. There's other things that I get as if not sometimes equally obsessed with, but they pass, but the tattooing hasn't, you know. And I've kind of tried to protect that over the years. I've been afraid of getting to other art forms. Like I've wanted to like mess around with oil paintings or do other stuff, and terrified to even touch it. Don't want to touch this stuff, not even once.
You're afraid to like become obsessed with it, or
I don't want to. Yeah, I don't want it to take away from my tattooing. I don't want it to influence my tattooing. I'm not an artist. I'm a tattoo artist. I make tattoo art. I don't want. I don't know. I don't need that. You know. I think I'm at a point now where I'm comfortable enough in my tattooing where I think I could explore other art forms, but I think I was just too green, too new to explore anything else because I was just too set on this, you know. But if I had it my way, I wish I could have a million lifetimes to have a million. I would love to be like a drummer and then bass player, guitar player, and a singer, and then a painter, and then a photographer, and like there's not enough time, you know.
Yeah.
So I just want to I found the thing that I'm good at. I just want to stick to that.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
And then it's like, for me, tattooing and punk rock are like the same thing. And so everything that I'm into, they somehow involve like those things, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I couldn't imagine doing anything else, to be honest. And everything else that I have in mind has that involved and somehow tied in a way. Like even businessy shit, it's still tattoo businessy shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that day that you tattooed my leg, that was a busy day for you because I remember you did that tattoo in Virginia also.
Was the octopus one?
It was the octopus.
Damn, that's crazy.
That was the same
That tattoo's
day.
sick.
That tattoo is sick. That shit,
Yeah.
that was a long time though.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Because it was like her whole like shoulder up and like her neck. Like that thing's huge.
That must have been. I have that photo like in my old portfolio. That was in my portfolio when I was tattooing professional. So it must have been not far off that. When I was learning how to tattoo, like it was kind of unconventional. But my mentor learned how to tattoo in prison, and I was learning in a shop. But it wasn't discouraged to let me fuck around and tattoo out of the house on the weekend on my own time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
because I remember I laid on your bed and you did my leg.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I think so I don't know. It was weird. Like it was
That was in 2010.
Yeah, it was like, yeah, that sounds right. 2010. And it was weird because they wouldn't, like the first tattoo I did in the shop as an apprentice was a good tattoo. They would prefer me to go fuck around with my friends at my house, make the bad house tattoo at the house, and then make the good tattoo in the tattoo shop.
Yeah.
Not like, it was really weird. It was like, it was an apprenticeship, but there was trial and error involved as well.
Yeah.
You know, it was very strange. I don't know. I think, and another thing that's weird about tattooing is it takes a lot of false like self-confidence. You gotta be a little bit delusional too, because you're gonna make a bad tattoo and you have to be willing to do another one, another one. And most like smart people wouldn't do another one because you like fucked up the first one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I think growing up in punk rock, it gave me like a little leeway because it wasn't like I didn't come into tattooing wanting to do portraits or something.
Yeah.
Like the expectations were low, and then like people always were happy. It helped that I got to get experience in fucking around with this like simple, crude, folky like style, and then learning how to apply them, and then figuring out the rest later. But I feel bad for people wanting to get in tattooing right now because, you know, I don't think that my mentor expected me to succeed or cared if I did or didn't. I think it was more or less like, you know, just kind of free labor on the shop type thing. The apprenticeship that people are afraid of is the apprenticeship I had.
Yeah.
And I'm stoked. I'm here. It's awesome. Like regardless of how I felt of how I was treated or how my apprenticeship went, I have everything to owe to it.
Yeah.
You know? And I wouldn't be here without it. So it is what it is. But I think I think right now if someone would want to apprentice under me, wanting to tattoo isn't really enough. Like, I'm like, what do you have to offer tattooing? Are you just gonna come and take from tattooing? Are you gonna colonize tattooing? Like, what are you bringing to tattooing?
Yeah.
Why does tattooing need you? Like, and it's not even as much of a gatekeeper thing as it is like a respect for them. Because if I feel like that person doesn't have what it takes to be successful within this world, then I'm wasting their time more than my time to even give them false hope and let them in.
Yeah.
So many good tattooers don't make a living. I mean, so many tattoo shops right now are going out of business right now. Like, you have to be exceptional. Like, so if you want to be a professional tattoo artist, to some degree, you have to be a professional artist. Like, you have to be able to sell your art. If you can't sell your art, you're probably not gonna be able to sell much tattoo art.
Yeah.
So I think I was lucky. I had nothing to show for it other than I wanted it. And I was fucking around with it, and they were willing to kind of like let me, and so I did. And then I figured out my way later.
Yeah.
I didn't come into tattooing wanting to be a traditional tattooer. I just want to make tattoos, So I'm very lucky that I was able to even get in, because I think right now it's easier than ever to get into tattooing, but it's harder than ever to stay tattooing.
Yeah.
And I think it was a right timing thing, because I don't think I would have became a tattooer if I was 18 right now.
No,
I don't think so. I think it's like a certain amount of like luck and a certain amount of like persistence, and also I got into tattooing for not selfish reasons. Like right now people want to get into tattooing as a career. They want to get into tattooing to make money. They want to get into tattooing for popularity. They want to get into tattooing for all these reasons. None of those are mine. I just want to tattoo my friend in my bedroom. I never had money. I didn't need any money. I didn't care if whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's a weird one too, where people were like, "Oh, I want a tattoo," and like they don't even have tattoos. They have a couple drawings. Like, what? Like,
Yeah.
and it's hard because now I feel like the old guy to where I feel almost like disrespected by them asking.
Yeah.
Like, now I get it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Being on the other side of it, I wouldn't have apprenticed me,
Yeah.
No way.
No.
Fuck no. Yeah, I'll let you keep piercing here, bud. You know what I mean? That's what happened. Yeah.
So how long into tattooing was it when California Street happened?
Dude, not long at all. It was so premature. It was so stupid. Like, I don't know. I always knew how I wanted to get things done, and I don't know. It was really, really weird. So when I left my apprenticeship, I worked at a shop called Zodiac Tattoo in Moreno Valley, and I worked there for a year, and I was doing a lot. I was like piercing, and I was tattooing, and doing some like body modification work, and I was really busy, and the shop had gone through a big change, and it was left with the owner, myself, his apprentice, and I had a friend, Martin, who was like kind of shadowing me, learning how to pierce and helped me out around the shop. And I was the first one in, last one out every single day. And the shop was just like a 50-50 percentage. And I wanted like 60-40, which is what most shops would do, like 40% to the shop. And they couldn't afford to do it. I get that now. Their shop was big. They were down artists. They couldn't afford to take another hit and give me a raise. But it was also like, I just wanted like the appreciation of like, hey, look, I know my worth. I know I'm here.
Yeah.
I know every other shop literally will give me this percentage going in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they kind of wouldn't do it. And I told them, I was like, all right, I'm open my own shop then. And they're like, okay. And so I didn't want to open up within like, I didn't want to compete with them.
Oh, okay.
So I didn't want to open up Moreno Valley. Riverside was too strict to open in Riverside. I wouldn't open in Corona because I apprenticed in Corona. And so then it was like San Bernardino, Yucaipa was like the next thing over. I never even been to Yucaipa. And I was seeing a lot of storefronts available there, and they were affordable. It was a cool little small town. And my dad kind of told me, I had thought about it. I found this spot, and I'm like, I think I could like open a shop.
Yeah.
And I thought like, oh man, I'll make it like this kind of cooperative thing, and it'll be like everyone will make good money and it'll be fair and everyone want to work for me, and I'll be like the my own shop on my own street, my own little town. There's not much competition, and couldn't be more wrong, man. Like no one wanted to fucking work for me. Like I was like 20, 21, like it was 2013. Like I had no business opening a shop that young. I'd only tattooed out of my apprenticeship for like a year, you know what I mean? Maybe a year and a half. Not long at all. Not long enough to open a shop. It was stupid. I had no money saved up. I'd sold like my motorcycle, and I had like a few grand, and I had this like credit card through PayPal. It was like a PayPal thing. It was weird.
Yeah.
Crazy high interest rate. That shit fucked me for a while. I didn't have much money at all. I had enough money to like lease the place out, put my stuff in it, do a tattoo, pay the health permit, do a tattoo, pay the gas bill, like I had nothing. And I talked to my dad about it. My dad told me, he was like, you know what? Like you're gonna make a decision in this life. Like you're young, and you're gonna make a decision if you want to be a wanter or if you want to be a doer. He's like, I'm a wanter. He's like, I talk shit on my boss. I know I could do it better. I've been there since the beginning. He's off taking vacation. I'm there working. But at the end of the day, he opened 3 businesses that failed before that one worked, and he did it. He took the risk, and he reaps the reward. I didn't. I know I could do it myself, but I'm not going to. I'm going to bitch about it. I'm going to come home, drink, have my weekend off, not answer his call, go back to work my ass off for 5 days. He's like, that's valuable to me. Like, and he's like, so you're going to decide, like, if you're going to be a wanter, if you want to do it, or if you open the shop, it doesn't work, you can say you tried. Like, you're not opening a food stand that's going to go bad. He's a bunch of tattoo supplies. You could keep it and try again. Eventually it'll work, you know? And, just the consequences felt really low. And he gave me like this kind of confidence that I should just kind of try it. So I did, and it was horrible. There was no walk-in traffic. I sucked at tattooing, and no one gave a fuck at all. And so I had to make it good. So I had to get good or go out of business. And so I got good. I just drew every single day, painted every single day. And then I started trying to do little guest spots through piercing connections. Like piercers I knew that had tattoo shops, and they knew me because I was a piercer. I would go guest spot to tattoo there. And then I started traveling more, and then I started documenting it, making like little videos of it. And I started getting better at tattooing, and I made it work, and I stayed there for the duration of my lease agreement for 4 years. And I sold the shop. The dude I sold to ran it to the ground super fast, and then I moved on. But I don't know. I definitely, you can't do it over, but if I could do it over again, I would have worked for the shop I learned at for a couple of years more. And I wouldn't have went to that shop in Moreno Valley. But I don't know. Things just worked out the way they worked out, you know? And it made me like very self-reliant too, because I could have easily kept working for someone, waiting for money to come in and being mad that it wasn't coming and being a wanter. But opening the shop forced me to be a doer, to where I had to make people walk in the door or get them to come in the door. Whether it was doing it cheaper, or whether it was doing more than everyone else, whatever it was, it made me do it. I forced responsibility. And I'm super grateful I did. You know, looking back, the timeline, how long I was in, it doesn't sound tight. Shouldn't have done it. But I did, and I'm here, you know. It's still crazy. It's absolutely mad when I think about it. Like, I shouldn't have opened that shop. It's crazy.
How did the cross-country trek come about? How long after was that?
So that was maybe a year, 2 years later. So after California Street, I opened a series of private studios, and they were just short-term leases. They were unlicensed. That one was an office in the back of a gym. One was a storefront in front of like a upholstery place. One was a storefront in Corona. And it was just kind of like, okay, cool. I'm just going to use these spaces to do my appointments, make my little videos, and then I don't have to worry about them while I'm gone. I could travel. And so then at that point, I'm doing no walk-ins. I'm just booking appointments. And I got to the point where traveling became viable to where it felt like I can kind of go anywhere. Like I could go and announce I'm going to a place and I can get appointments there. And the more places I went, the more opportunities I got. And I found myself saying no to a lot more things I was saying yes to. And I found myself being gone more than I should have been gone, and it causing friction in my relationship. And Yessie and me were both into the van life stuff and all that. And I was like, we can go anywhere you want right now. Like, we had a little bit of money saved up. We were in the position to buy a house. Riverside was too strict. Let me open a tattoo shop in Riverside. I didn't want to continue to commute and guest spot everywhere around Southern California. I didn't want to travel. I was burnt. And it was like, what if we just get a van and live down by the river? You know?
Yeah.
And so we kind of made this plan that we would do. She was like, I promise I'll do 6 months, but we'll aim for a year on the road. And so I want to squeeze as much of that trip as possible, as it felt like a once in a lifetime thing. So we subleased our apartment out to our in-laws and put our stuff in storage in the garage. And I planned these guest spots, and the way I set it up is where I'd go tattoo for 2 days at a shop. So like a Friday, Saturday, I would guest spot. And then Sunday through Thursday, whatever we wanted to do. So we'd see every national park. We'd go to every side road attraction. We'd eat every cool restaurant, whatever. And then we'd make enough money tattooing the 2 days to be able to do the next week on the road. And we did basically exactly 6 months, did 31 states. And at the end of it, I was over it. Yessie was like possibly still down. Yeah. I was like, I want to like wake up and know where I'm at. I want to like value where I don't know. We came back to Riverside. We really missed it. And it was an amazing experience, but it wasn't like a forever thing, you know?
Yeah.
I think if we didn't put a time restraint on it, I think we would have enjoyed it more and done it longer. But I think me being competitive about it and wanting to get the most out of it is what kind of burnt me out on it. Mm. I think it would have been better if like I did a guest spot in Colorado and then I was going to do 2 days, but then, oh shit, I was able to book 5 days. And then like, oh man, you know what? Made some good money. Let's get a cool Airbnb for a couple days and let's go up to Wyoming. Oh, someone said we should go do this. Let's go do this. Then go do the next guest spot and just kind of like go with it as it was supposed to go.
Yeah.
But even though we spent a week in each state, it was still fast. Like it was still kind of rushed. It kind of was a blur, you know?
Yeah. I remember when you came back, we had breakfast at Plant Power.
Oh shit. Redlands one or Riverside one?
Redlands.
I love that location.
Yeah, I remember that. So where does the name?
I do remember that.
Yeah.
That was nice.
Yeah.
We had like the back porch.
Yeah.
I remember that. Yeah.
I think that was like I want to say maybe a couple days after you had gotten back.
I think you're right. Yeah.
So where does the name Unite and Win come from? Because that's where I remember you putting that on the bus.
Do you really not know?
I really don't know.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Damn. Okay. Well, good thing. Okay. You didn't fake the punk. Could have lied and said you did. So it comes from two different things. It's a song by Sham 69.
Okay.
And it was also an album by Oi Polloi. And Oi Polloi put out ironically, they were not an Oi band, but they put out an Oi album. And it was kind of a way to unite the scene between punks and skins. There was a lot of division, and they just put out like the greatest Oi album just to like, we could do it, you know?
Yeah.
I love that album, and I love Sham 69, and I love that song. And to those that don't know, it just sounds positive, and you could relate to anything you want, and no one had used it for anything. And so I always had the idea of I want to do something with it for years. I'd actually made like a Unite and Win Instagram in like 2016 or something. I did nothing with it. It just said Unite and Win on there. And I was like, oh, I'll do like Unite and Win clothing company, do like little shirts, or I'll do Unite and Win tattoo company. I'll do Unite and Win podcast, Unite and Win bus, Unite and Win. Yeah. I was like, I'm just going to make that mine. I like the way that sounds. That sounds nice. It stacked up real nice. It looked good. And then, so yeah, that was always on my mind. I knew I was going to use that. And so I did I think the podcast came first, then it was the bus, and then the tattoo shop. But the tattoo shop was a part of the game plan beforehand.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I actually bought like a old punk zine off eBay. It says "Unite and Win" on it too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's just a commonly used like phrase in the scene, I guess. Yeah.
Did you get a lot of people like taking pictures of the bus while you guys were out?
Dude, it was a problem. Yeah, it kind of ruined the trip a little bit. Like the bus, for those listening, it was like a house on wheels. It looked like a little cabin on a E350. Like,
And you guys
Ford.
transformed that thing yourselves.
To an extent, it was partially done. It was crazy, dude. It looked cooler than it was. Like, it looked cute. It looked like a little home. And we really did a lot to it ourselves. And like, we really made it our home and it felt like home.
Yeah.
But it wasn't ready to hit the road. And there was a lot of stuff not accounted for. The original builder who built it, he built it more or less as a prop.
Oh, okay.
He would like fix up RVs and want to build tiny homes, and he had it parked out in front of his place in Lancaster. But he just put that cheap like fence post wood directly on the outside of the bus. And so there's just a lot of little holes, right? And then he put like an old RV like AC on the roof, and it would like leak water into the inside.
Oh shit.
And there was no insulation. Like the windows were still there inside. Like there wasn't like, it was a prop
Yeah.
that we moved into. And when we got it like down to the wire, like we had someone like build some cabinetry and stuff before, and we were gonna like leave our apartment at a certain date, and the bus wasn't ready. My buddy Ryan was in there like wiring up the electricity stuff the night before he left, parked in front of Raymond's mom's house. And then the very next day, like 10 minutes in the trip, the plumbing starts leaking because he had used like, it was plumbed with like kind of garden hose type stuff, and it was drooping down over the exhaust pipes. The exhaust pipe melted through it, so we lost all the water out of our tank. So I'm like pulling up to an Ace Hardware in Harupa Valley before we even left town, and I'm like buying garden hose and like fixing it. And then, dude, and then in the wintertime, it got cold as fuck in there. In the summertime, it was hot as fuck in there. Man, the trials and tribulations were wild, you know? Like,
Yeah.
and it was an amazing trip. And we really like, but man, a lot went wrong. It's like your house is in an earthquake every day.
Yeah.
You know, if there's something that's a little loose, it's going flying across the room. Like, it's like there's ghosts in the house. You make a hard left turn, shit goes wild, you know?
Yeah.
It was crazy. If we did it again, and we very may well in the future sometime, you know, I don't know, but I would go less for aesthetics and more for functionality.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't really worry about it looking so cool. I'd also want something like more stealthy, like, because yeah, dude, like it, like people loved it. You know, you're sleeping in a Walmart parking lot and you hear people outside like looking at it, taking pictures of it. Like there was one time I was like taking a shit and someone like peeks in like, ooh, wow. And I'm like, oh fuck, I'm pooping. And I didn't have like the curtain fully, there's a crack.
Yeah.
And they're like, look at the crack, you know? And kind of makes you feel kind of like, they don't know they're being weird.
Yeah. Yeah.
They just see this cool parade float and they're like, what is that? Is that a food truck? Is that like what is that? You know? And people are like, whoa, can I check it out? And I'm like, no, I'm good. Like, that's a stranger asking them to come into your home.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It got kind of crazy. It was a lot. You know what I mean? And ironically, even though I have tattoos and stuff, I don't like attention a whole lot, you know, like, and if I do, I suppose I like it on my terms. And man, it felt like a invasion of privacy a lot of times.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would do it different. It's not as glamorous or glorious as people think. You know, you're
Yeah.
living in a van.
Yeah. Yeah.
It doesn't matter how you dress it up. You're living in a van, you know?
Yeah.
It was amazing. It was definitely a once in a lifetime opportunity. I'm glad we got to do it. It'd be a lot harder to do that now. Yeah, I'm glad we did it. Yeah.
Yeah. So like when we had that breakfast at Plant Power, I specifically remember you talking about like wanting to open up a shop in Riverside. And I remember you saying my dream location is the shop across the street from Lowe's.
Yeah.
You're like, I want that spot. Like, it's just because it's so hard to get a spot in Riverside.
I had my eyes on that for years, and I got my first tattoo in that building. And
what was it called when you got your tattoo there?
it was called Ground Zero Tattoo. Yeah. A gentleman named Mark owned it at the time, and it was packed full of tattooers. It was crazy. I don't know how he fucking did it. Like, I've changed my layout twice in the 4 years I've had it, and I think back to the way I remember the layout when I walked in, and it makes sense. But man, it was crazy. He had like 6-7 tattooers in 300 square feet. Like,
fuck.
Yeah, he had it set up, and my recollection could be wrong because I remember things different, you know. But I'm 90% sure it was this way. But there was 2 pony walls, and when you walk in the front door, which is centered in the front of the building, the restroom was in the back right corner. They had the 2 pony walls, like, you know, chest height, and they aimed towards that back corner. So basically, you could walk in the shop and walk directly to the restroom across the shop. So that allowed you to not have to have a lobby, and you could fit 3 people in that triangle, and you could fit, you know, 4 to 5 in that other shape. And then people, you don't stop tattooing. They could walk up and kind of like peek over. Hey, what's up? We working on blah, blah, blah. So you didn't really need to have a shop help. Everyone could be tattooing, but also you have any weirdo come on the street, able to walk right up in your space, able to go in your restroom. Like, I don't know. There's no barrier to entry, but it's weird too. Like uncovering, like tearing that place apart. There was like 4 layers of floors. Like they just kept
4 layers.
Yeah, dude. Like there was fake wood laminate on top of like oversized stick down checkered garage flooring, on top of more laminate, on top of more laminate, and then there was carpet underneath that. Like underneath all of it. Like it was
fuck, dude.
It was nuts, man. And it was just like, but the shop was so cracking and it was such a good location. I think that they never really got to like close down or remodel. They just stay late and add a new layer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, I kind of tried to get a hold of that owner for years, seeing if he would like sell his business license. And it was in November of 2019, I think. Yeah, maybe October. I was in Lincoln, Nebraska, and I was at Airbnb, and we were burnt out from the road, and we rented an Airbnb for like 3 or 4 days, just like stretch our legs. There wasn't much in Nebraska. We're like, we can lose this week and chill in the Airbnb in Lincoln. And I talked to him on the phone. I got a hold of him, and he had been retired for a few years. He was looking to like move out of state, and the shop like wasn't doing well, but not bad enough for him to get rid of it. Mm-hmm. But good enough for him to still kind of passively it got by. Yeah. And I had told him, like, you know, I'm from Riverside. I got my first tattoo in that building. I want to move back to Riverside. I want to have my own shop. I don't want to add to another shop in town. I don't want to take anyone from any shop locally in town. I want to have my shop my way in my hometown. And that spot is awesome. Yeah. And he expressed that he was open to selling it and stuff. And so we had kind of come to agreement. And then in February of 2020, I'd kind of got it. And, you know, a month and 13 days later.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was
all right.
timing.
So before that happened, what did it feel like? Like you got it. Like, what was that feel? Do you remember that feeling of like,
overwhelming?
Because
the place was gnarly, dude. It's embarrassing to say how bad it was. Like, it was bad. Like, there was no, like, on the top tank of the toilet, there was no, like, cover. There was a piece of cardboard on it. Really? Those toilets are $100 across the street at Lowe's. Like, and someone must have broke it or something like that. There was rats living in the ceiling. There was roaches in the shop. There was food in the shop. Like, it was fucking gross. It was bad. It was real bad. Fuck. And I had to, like, man, there were some late nights. Me and Anthony Pimentel there, like, painting and seeing a rat run through the shop all freaked us out, dude. Like, it was wild. It was wild. We tore it apart, took all the ceiling tiles down. We so there was nowhere for them to go. You know what I mean? Yeah. Kept the spot clean as fuck, painted everything, cleaned everything, threw away everything, filled up dumpsters full of stuff. tore that part down to a shell. I don't own the building, but man, I put security shutters in that place. I replaced the windows in that place. I replaced the doors in that place. I've had the entire building rewired. I've got new ceiling tiles. I got new lighting, new speakers. I've invested a lot of money into 300 square feet. Everything I had and more, and continue to. Like, it's small, but man, it is mighty. It's been quite the trek. It was very overwhelming. It's funny because it comes up every day that, like, you know, like the story of me getting my first tattoo in there. And it doesn't really get old. Like, it's kind of funny. And my coworkers are like, oh, here we go. Like, but it's pretty cool. You know, it's pretty cool. And yeah, I don't know. Like, I just wanted it for so long, and I kind of, I definitely made it happen. You know, even the landlord didn't want me. Like, the current tenant was not tight with the landlord. And the landlord, he had introduced me to him. He's like, oh, this is Wayne. He's my buddy. He's going to take it over. I'm going to be retiring. And da-da-da-da. You know, he wants to take over the lease. And the landlord straight up told me, like, any friend of Scott's isn't a friend of mine. Like,
oh, shit.
I don't want to lease it to you if you're friends with him. And I'm like, I'm not friends with him. I don't know him. I just met this guy, man. I just want the spot, you know? And, yeah, there was some beef between him and the landlord that took a couple of years for me to, like, earn the respect from that family that owns that property. And yeah, it was hectic, dude.
Yeah,
it was hectic. Things are pretty tight now. Like, I just talked to the landlord's son. It's the Doi family. They're like generations deep. So I know his father's father, and then Cooney Doi, and then Kevin Doi is my age. And yeah, they like me now, but man, it was a
long road.
I had to earn that respect. It didn't just happen. Yeah, long road for sure. But yeah, it's the perfect shop. Like, it weeds out all the bullshit. Like, I could never hire someone just because I need money. If I don't like them or listen to different music, it just would not be long. You know what I mean? I don't hire people. I won't hire people. If you're interested in my shop, come hang out. Come get a tattoo or come do a guest spot. Ask if you can come guest spot. I'm very welcoming. I want to share my shop with people. I want everyone to see it. I want everyone to experience it. It's a beautiful little spot. It's a piece of me. I love it. But yeah, it's a lot to ask. Like, asking for a job for me is asking to spend, 50 hours a week with me. Yeah. And I don't know. I love you. I don't spend 50 hours a week with you. Yeah. So it's like, I would. I'll hire you in a heartbeat, Fidel. But when it comes to that, when someone wants a job, it's like, yo, come hang out for a while. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to just, like, bring on anyone. Bigger shops, when I was at Zodiac, it was 2,000 square feet, all individual rooms, and that guy hated the owner, and the owner hated him, and he wouldn't quit because it was busy, and he wouldn't fire him because it was busy, and they'd both bitch to me about how they hated each other, and I never wanted that. You know what I mean? Having a small shop will not allow that to happen.
Yeah, very intimate.
Very intimate, yeah. And I like that, like, we all share the same conversations. There's no cool guy shit. Yeah. Like, I'll butt into the conversation that they're having because we're in the same room and it's right there. Yeah. It's up for grabs to hop in that conversation. And they'll do the same to me, and our clients become friends with each other, and my clients get tattooed by him and his clients get tattooed by me, and it's definitely like when it comes to the walk-ins, it's typically like, whoever kind of came to work first gets the first walk-in, and so they do the walk-ins, and the walk-ins are generally down to get tattooed by whoever has time, and someone always has time, and it's a tight crew.
Very communal.
Yeah, it is. Like, I supply everything. And that's super important. That's integral to the way the shop is ran, because, you have shops where, like, the owner doesn't supply the most basic personal protective equipment or paper towels to clean or whatever. And then you have that creates BS between coworkers because, like, oh, he used my fucking gloves and he used my paper towels, and none of us own anything. You need anything? Let me know. I buy it. It's ours. You know what I mean? So it's not, oh, you have my yellow again. It's like, oh, our yellow is over there and now it's over here, and then we keep it back here. Like, we share everything, and that's another thing too. It's like, that's not for everyone, and that's good. Yeah. So I only hire my homies, and if if they're not my homie, then I need to become homies with them first.
Yeah.
So the hang is the most important part.
So you opened the place February 2020.
Yeah.
And then the world shut down.
Dude, it really did. And it's like, I didn't take it seriously at all at first. Like, man, we were making jokes. We were mocking the whole thing. We were making jokes like, tat until the tomb. Like, we were like yelling shit out. I was like, man, we heard that there was like tanks in Huntington Beach, or like the like the reserves are coming out, and like what's going to happen? Oh my God, end of the world. Well, I'm like, man, unless the tanks are stopping me from walking in the shop, I'm pulling up,
Yeah.
And then, dude, like a week later, there was no fucking paper towels. And I was like, well, even if I want a tattoo, there's no paper towels.
Yeah.
And then like glove prices skyrocketed. And then it was like, oh man, this doesn't feel safe, And man, the uncertainty was real. Like, it was very scary. And within a couple of days, I mean, I'm afraid to tattoo wearing a mask at home. Like, it was overnight. Like, we were joking and then we kind of stopped laughing. It was weird. Cause it's just like, it's what if, and what side do I want to be on in it? And I'd rather be cautious and be wrong than be ignorant and be fucking really rude and really wrong.
Yeah.
And so I was cautious for long. We closed the shop, for a full year. They were playing games, letting things open and close and open and close, and we just stayed closed. I didn't want to do any of that. The frustration on my end was like, it was not safe for us and it's not safe for them. And then the weird, like, they can open, but we can't. And that sucked. And so, we kind of like, we were doing appointments and we're doing less of them. So instead of me doing, I did 3 tattoos today. I'm doing 3 tomorrow, tattooing a full day the next day. That's how my days usually go. And around then I was like, all right, I'll just book 1 appointment that day. So I was like, I'm going to take a risk, but I'm going to minimize my risk. And ironically, it was incredible for business. It was uncertain for everyone, but that made like a kind of a solidarity. Like, everyone wanted to support small business. Everyone had time, and people who were working and a lot of people who weren't working had extra income. They definitely had extra time, and they had less things to go out and do. And so it started easing up, and we were just appointment only. And then eventually everything was open except for us. And it was like, okay, looks like nothing's going to close down again. Cool. Okay. If everyone else is open, we ought to be too. And so we opened up. We were pretty strict on the mask thing. And that was difficult. I had a shop help kind of being, a mask warrior, fucking imposing it on the public, being like, it was like, oh, can you please put this on? And it did feel frustrating because it felt like, oh, we're making this effort and then they don't care. And eventually it was just like, we're playing games. Like, like, we're doing this thing or we're not. We're taking a risk or we're not. Like, and we eventually kind of lost the mask and whatever, but we were pretty late too. We kind of held on that for a little bit longer than most people. But again, I was kind of like, I'd rather be cautious than not.
Yeah.
And, it was weird, but it wasn't too, it wasn't too bad. Like, it really gave me the downtime I needed to fix up that shop.
Yeah.
And, I had already tattooed in Ukaipa for 4 years with no walk-ins. I'd already tattooed around the world with no walk-ins. So it kind of like, okay, cool. I'm not going to pick a side. I'm not going to say you're wrong. I'm not going to say they're wrong. I'm just going to shut up and post tattoos. And then I'm going to tattoo people who I do want to tattoo, and people I don't, I won't. And I'll take the time and fix up my shop. And when the general consensus that things are okay enough, I'll open then. So if we didn't have that happen, I don't know that I would have been able to remodel the shop and do what I did. It'd probably be a 5th fucking layer to the floor, realistically. Yeah. I needed that downtime.
Yeah.
And it gave me like a real strong like confidence where I was like, man, if I can make it through that year, I can make it through anything.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of irony to it too, because there's so many new tattooers that got created out of the pandemic. Like, just like people that wanted a tattoo for years that were like, okay, this is finally I have the time, or whatever. It was just a big like change, so it symbolized change for everyone. It was like the big push to do the thing you weren't doing before. But it was kind of crazy because it flooded the market. There's so many new people that started tattooing, and they were all busier than they would have been if it wasn't that, because they had friends that had spare time and had spare money.
Yeah.
And then in this most recent year that we just had, 2023, it was slow. Like everything inflated in that time except for people's pay. And then everyone was like, whoa, what happened? And everything kind of dried up. And so a lot of pandemic tattooers were just like, where's all the money at?
Yeah.
And it's just like not essential,
Yeah.
And so it's kind of crazy. So right now, as of right now, early 2024, we're in March, there's tattoo shops going out of business. There's tattooers quitting tattooing. Like literally today, a friend of mine quit tattooing.
Really?
Yeah. Like it's wild. And I think like I've never really thought of a famine mentality of not enough to go around. And I still don't to a certain extent. But if you look at tattooing like being this subculture, and now it's this pop culture thing, it's kind of gotten, when I said it's gotten too big earlier, I mean that, where it's like, if you just start now, you'll be busy because you're cheap and you're accessible. If you've been tattooing for a long time and you have clientele, or if you're clever and you have, you're interesting or have a social media presence or whatever, you're all right, right? So you have like the beginner and the person that has a demand for their work. Everyone in between is fucked because they're not cheap enough for the demand that's walking the door because it's so popular right now. They're not the cheapest price in town.
Yeah.
They're not good enough or busy enough to be booked up like them either. So it kind of creates this crazy void. And for tattoo shops, it's really tricky because it's like either you're going to be the super cheap walk-in shop in town or you're going to be like this like appointment only thing. Everyone else is having a real hard time in tattooing. I'm lucky that I opened California Street Tattoo because I could have just as easily just been sitting around, waiting, wanting, talking shit every day, drawing, waiting for what walks in the door. If it dries up, I'll be screwed. But I think because I kind of took that risk and made that work, it kind of made me like, it put me in a position to where like I'm still not waiting for people to walk in the door. And I think that's what I mean by if someone wanted to learn how to tattoo right now, they do have to have something, or else they're just gonna be another motherfucker.
Yeah.
And that's not good that's not good for anyone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's hard. It's hard to be special. It's hard to stay relevant. It's hard to no one needs a tattoo. So, I'm very, very lucky that people even want to get tattooed by me. I'm very lucky that I even know how to do this thing. Because again, like I'd probably just be working at the plastic factory still, or homeless. That's what I really wanted to be when I grew up. I just wanted to like hop trains and just steal shit.
Fuck yeah.
That sounded like freedom to me, and in some respects still does, I'm not hating. I think it's sick, but yeah, I don't know. I think if tomorrow, like, if tomorrow all of a sudden, I lost everything, lost the shop, lost my house, lost everything, I'd still tattoo.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I could do it anywhere. I could go to any country and tattoo for any price, whatever. I know how to make a machine. I know how to make needles. I know how to mix pigment. I know how to make ink. I know how to create a tattoo. Not Amazon, buy a machine and put a battery on. I know how to actually make a tattoo.
Yeah.
So like I'm in a position where I'm very lucky. And then when I started tattooing again, I just want to make tattoos. So I'm not of the position where if tomorrow traditional wasn't cool and no one gave a fuck about my style, I'm fine doing your style. I will do what walks in the door, and I'll be grateful for it. I'm lucky that I have a thing I get to do, but you have to love it at its worst to ever be able to even have the possibility of getting to experience it at its best. And I love tattooing at its worst. I'll tattoo you on my bed and be happy about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Those were good times.
Yeah.
I don't mind that. That was a great time in my life, you know? So I think being an artist, you have to love it at its worst. You have to be willing to never make it big.
Yeah.
You have to be willing to sleep on couches for it's a part of it, right? And I think people are so sold like all the best parts. And when it's not the best, they're like, well, what about the best part?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they're rudely awakened when they find out what being an artist actually entails. And it is like ironically blood, sweat, and tears or whatever, you know? Yeah. So I don't know. I wouldn't wish being an artist on anyone. It's a lot of stress.
You said you make you know how to make a tattoo. Mm-hmm. You make needles, right?
Yeah.
How did that start?
It started from like from the shop actually. I didn't want to own like a supply company, but one of the things I wanted to do for Unite and Win is I wanted to supply everything in the shop, and that kind of came from just me as a business owner, right? Like, why me opposed to them? Why should you work for my shop opposed to that shop?
Yeah.
And I feel like in some respects, the artist has more to offer the shop. The shop does have the artist. It used to not be that way. And it used to be like you needed that on your resume. Now the artist has more followers than the shop does, right? My shop's old school in the fact that there is walk-ins every day to where you could work at my shop and not have an Instagram and you could make an all right living, but it'd certainly help if you had an appointment too.
Yeah.
You know? But, you know, when you look at the breakdown of a tattoo shop's pretty expensive to run. And, you know, the owner takes on all the risk and they get some reward, but they also have the most to lose with all the risk. All your tattooers could quit tomorrow. You know what I mean? Being the best in town, it's hard. Tattooers are not easily replaceable if you want the best in town, you know? So I wanted people that work at my shop to be able to focus on just tattooing. And when I came into tattooing, we were using like metal tubes and tips, and we'd scrub our tubes and soak them in Alkanox, and then we'd, you know, disinfect them and we'd autoclave them and have them sterilized, and we'd log it, and then, you know, we'd buy our own gloves. I think we bought our own gloves. No, I think I bought my own gloves, and then paper towels were covered, cleaning supplies were covered. I bought my own ink and pigment, bought my own machines. But the shop providing tubes was a big amenity. And I wasn't using disposables yet. Before disposables, it wasn't safe to tattoo outside of a shop. You needed to work in a shop for legitimacy, to be able to say it meant you were a real professional.
Yeah.
And also for safety, because if you're tattooing out of your house, how you clean those tubes? Like, oh shit, that's sketchy, right? There's a bad connotation with it. And so when disposables came about, they started getting popular. Once I got out of my apprenticeship, and I used metal tubes all throughout Zodiac. When I went to open California Street Tattoo, I felt like I'm never scrubbing a tube again. Fuck this. I'm buying disposables. I didn't want to deal with it, you know? And, you know, that could be, you know, a lot of money. Like when you're buying supplies, like I spend $150 on a slow week to $250 a week on supplies for the shop, for everyone that works in the shop. And if you're working in a shop and you're paying a percentage of that shop, a part of that percentage is like you're paying to be a part of that collective. You're paying to have that on your resume. You're paying to have access to that autoclave to sterilize your stuff. Now, if you're paying 40%, but you're also buying all your own personal protective equipment, and you're also buying your own disposable tubes and your own ink and your own needles. And I mean, it's like, man, you're making 60%, and then you're spending an additional 20% on your supplies,
Yeah.
you know, and then you're going to pay, depending on how good you're doing, if you do it, 20, 30% in taxes. And if everyone's paying you with apps and you're paying 2% to get that money immediately, and then you have to transfer it, and you do $100 tattoo, you might be making $20.
Yeah.
You know, it's not as much money as people think. And so I'm making passive income off of my coworkers. And yeah, I'm providing the space for them to make money. Yeah, they get to they get some residual people from my following or from my shop location. But I don't want them to, they're not business owners. I don't want them to worry about running a business. I want their business to be tattoos. And I want to be able to provide them a place to make tattoos and thrive making tattoos. So for me, I felt like the shop I got was too small to have a processing room, to have an autoclave. So I felt if I'm not going to provide an autoclave for you to scrub your tubes, I should provide you tubes. So it felt important for me to buy disposables for everyone. And then, so I started buying, I just would supply all the stuff I use. I'm like, hey, anyone can use it. We share everything, right? And it became kind of communal. It was really nice. And I had a few people working there, and I intend on having other tattoo shops. So if I'm buying tubes and needles for like 4 different dudes, I should be kind of getting these wholesale at a certain point. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't really make much sense to be buying these retail.
Yeah.
And I wanted to know more about my craft and where it came from. And from tinkering with my tattoo machines and soldering needles and mixing pigment, I wanted to have a full rounded like appreciation, understanding for what goes into making a tattoo. If I'm saying that I'm a tattoo artist, I need to be able to understand that, right? Like, so tattooing, there is a tattoo industry, and it is massive, and it's not really a part of tattooing. These are big, huge corporations. Nexus Art Group is a huge one. I think what was the other one? Body. I don't need to name them all, but these big investment firms buy up these supply companies, and then they'll have them in their portfolio, and then they'll sell them. And tattooing is sold out. Tattooers don't own tattooing. Most tattooers don't know, like, the owner of the company that made their needles. They don't question it. They don't ask about it. It's just all Amazon.
Yeah.
The way we treat Amazon, we just get the things to our doorstep. It's magic.
Yeah.
That's how most tattooers are with tattooing. They're so disillusioned and disconnected from their craft.
Yeah.
And if I'm going to have a shop or 2 shops or 3 shops, and I'm going to be buying supplies for everyone, I want to know where these supplies are coming from. And I want to vote with my dollar, and like maybe I want to buy it from them and not them, right? And I want to know what went into it, and I want to know why that's better, and I want to know. Maybe I don't want to be like, oh, well, it's just cool packaging. I want to know why it's better, right? So I started looking into where needles were manufactured and who was manufacturing them, and it was a long process, and it really taught me a lot about tattooing, like learning it on an industrial level, learning about the industry that kind of that keeps tattooing afloat, as we know.
Yeah.
And so I want to be a part of it, because I want to be a part of tattooing. So I figured it was a lot of research. It still is. It's quite a lot. But yeah, I got a lot of needles made and I started selling to my friends, and it made it to where I could supply it to my coworkers. And my original intent with Unite Wind Tattoo Supply was maybe I can have a supply company, and I could sell these supplies. I can sell the best stuff at the best price possible. Finding out good shit is expensive. The best price isn't the best shit. That's tricky to figure out too when you're on the other end of it. But I thought maybe I could sponsor my shops and sponsor myself. If people will buy these supplies, then maybe they'll pay for me to be able to get them, and it'll pay for me and my coworkers to be able to use them.
Yeah.
That was it. Like, why do I have to buy it from you? Who buys it from you? Buys it from you? Why don't I just do it my way? Again, it's just a DIY thing. It was like, why don't I open my own tattoo shop? You know, why don't I start my own needle company? Why don't I, you know, it's just, I get obsessed with something and I just like figure it out and I want to do it my way, you know? And so, yeah, so for me, it felt like it was a way of providing to my shops. And it also created a community outside of my shop where there's people who have bought my needles, become fans of the needles, and then want to guest spot at my shop. And they found out about my shop from finding out about the needles first.
Oh, wow.
And then there's guest artists that come guest spot at my shop. They use my needles, give them a box, this and that. Now they're buying the needles. Now their coworkers are buying the needles. You know what I mean? And it's like, I see these names come in on the orders. I'm like, oh shit, that's Rempy. I just fucking worked with him at the downtown tattoo anniversary. And like, man, you know, he's bought 7 boxes for me, you know, like fucking awesome. And it really starts to feel like a community because tattoo community is like a loosely used term. It's like there is none. It's very tribal. Like every shop is its own world.
Yeah.
But through Unite and Win, ironically, like it's kind of cool. Like, you know, these people can come guest spot my shop and they use the supplies and they could be in my little video or be on my podcast or I'll guest spot with them, guest spot with me. And like, I want to do more stuff with it. Like I want to have like t-shirts for the supply company designed by tattoo artists who buy the supplies. I want them to be represented in the brand that they use. I want to put out like flash books and like say as a tattooist I really like their flash, and I look up their name and I don't see any orders from them on Shopify. Well, I'm not gonna include them in the book.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But damn, my boy Cole like buys some needles. He's good as fuck. I want his sheet in the book. You know, I want the company to represent the people that support it.
Yeah.
And I want it's symbiotic, unite and win, right? So I think I want to make the tattoo industry that I want to be a part of. You know, I want to make the world that I would want to live in. I want to surround myself with the people that I want to hang out with. So it's all selfish endeavor. Like,
yeah.
I can tattoo alone, like a private studio. I don't want to hire someone. I want to hire my friend. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I don't want them to be stressed out on like, damn, supplies are expensive right now. These getting more expensive. I'll take care of it, you know? So I'm just trying to like create the world that I want to live in, you know? And it's a narrow field of view. All I give a fuck about is punk rock and tattoos. But like, it's cool to like, to do it myself, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I see you post sometimes that you take appointments in San Diego.
Yeah.
How did that come about?
So like,
if you want to talk about it.
Yeah, so it's awesome. So yeah, so Evan, like mutual friend of ours, obviously forever, just as long.
Yeah.
He's trying to get a shop for a long time, and he's up late night sending me like LoopNet, City Feet, and Craigslist stuff all the time, and I'm like, that spot looks cool. Oh, that spot's a little close to this shop. That spot looks cool. You know, and just like, man, such a hard city to make it in.
Yeah.
Like such a hard city to make it in. And it kind of came about as I was like, well, hey, man, if there's a spot that's a little too big or a little too out of reach, maybe we could do something together. And so Evan had a friend that he met from his climbing gym, got a lead on the spot. And me and Evan went in halves on the space that we have. It was important to him to have his piercing shop, you know? So he has rose body piercing. I have a space within it. That's my little hidden from you tattoo. I don't need no signage or anything like that. Just come in, do my tattoos, and leave. It's easy on me. You know, he's incredibly attentive and an incredible, you know, caretaker of that space. Like I don't go for a week or two and things are as I left them. And man, it's easy on me. I don't have to worry about it or think on it. I just feel like I'm going and guest spotting with my friend.
Yeah.
You know? It's been fun. I don't go down there enough. But it's nice, man. Like us splitting it makes it to where it's like me going down tattooing breaks it even, and it's nice, you know? I love San Diego.
Yeah, it's nice. I like it out there too.
Yeah.
I had told Evan, like, well, because when we had him on, he had talked about wanting to open up the spot. And I told him like, oh, once you get it open, because for as long as I've known him, he's always wanted to pierce me.
Oh, absolutely.
And I've never like, I don't have any piercings.
Keep going.
I don't have any piercings. And I remember he would always be like, let me punch your ears out. Mm-hmm. Like, I'll do it for free. Let me punch your ears. I'm like, nah, like, that's just, I'm not into piercings, you know? But I told him, I was like, once you open the shop, I'll get a piercing from you. And I still don't know what I'm going to do it. I just haven't.
Step it up.
I haven't.
It's about to be a year.
I know. That's what I'm like, fuck. It's about to be a year and I haven't made the
Punch
trip
your
down.
fucking ears out.
No, I'm not going to do that.
You got some thick lobes. Not a big deal. It sounds scarier than it is. What else would you do?
I don't know.
Earlobes are classic.
I don't know. I've toyed with the idea of doing a nostril.
Oh, you should do that. That's good. That's easy.
Yeah.
That's pretty classy. Anyone can pull off a nostril piercing.
Yeah.
Especially just a nice little, that'd be nice.
I think that's what I'm going to do. I just got to make the trip down.
Yeah, that'd be cool, man. You should totally do that. That'd be great.
I do want to get a tattoo from you down there too.
We should do it all in one swoop. Maybe we could just commute down there together.
That'd be tight.
And then, he could pierce you and I could tattoo you and we can get some cool food and that'd be fun. That'd be a nice drive. I would like that.
Yeah, I haven't gone down to San Diego in a while, especially like down to chill with Evan. It's been a while.
Yeah.
And I kind of feel bad about it because he's come up here more often.
Yeah.
So I do want to make that trip down there.
Yeah, I think I'm going out there. I think next week I'm tattooing my client William, doing his ribs. Dude's a beast. He's crazy, man. Like, toughest motherfucker in the world.
Yeah?
Yeah, he's nuts. I just did like a cowgirl down his ribs, and I'm gonna do like another cowgirl on a horse down his other ribs, and he sits like a rock. Did his whole back in just 2 sessions, did his whole front in 2 sessions, and like, he's nuts. He's got like a little bodysuit jumping off it, where his torso will be 100% complete when I go down there next week. He sits so good.
Yeah?
Yeah, there's some people that just like, man, tattooing isn't fair. I don't sit good at all.
No?
No, I don't like getting tattooed. I was got tattooed yesterday, actually.
How do I sit?
You sit good. You sit fine.
I mean, I've only gotten my arm from you, so.
Yeah, nothing that... Your leg?
Oh, yeah, my leg.
Yeah, nothing that I can recall of being an issue like that. You sit good, but man, you really know how you sit when you get a tattoo on like your back or your chest or your ribs, like, or your inner thigh or like weird parts of your neck or like, or like, those are spots that really let you know like how you sit.
Yeah.
I feel like anyone can get an arm tattoo. Arm hurts. It does. But man, it's a different world getting your kidney tattooed.
Oh yeah, I bet.
Dude, there was some muscles in my back I didn't know existed till yesterday. Every time a needle would touch, it would just like clench up. Oof. Felt like I had, like, in your butthole flexes.
Yeah.
Like that, but all over my back. Like my back's covered in buttholes somehow. Yeah, dude, it's crazy. Super weird. Yeah, I don't know. I think you gotta really want it. Tattoos should hurt, like you gotta really, really want it. It's gonna hurt. And then if it hurts a lot and it costs a lot and you still want it, then you've earned it. Then you want it, If they don't hurt at all, they don't cost anything, you're probably gonna regret a lot of those things.
Yeah. They
need like a physical trade of value. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The only tattoos I regret are the ones that I got for cheap or I didn't pay for. The ones that I paid the most for, the ones I love the most. Because I think it's like you put that value on it,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, thank you so much for coming on, dude. Like this
is easy.
This has been awesome.
I can go for fucking hours.
Yeah, we can.
Yeah.
We can. But yeah, I wanted to talk to you and like, cause I love your perspective on things. I love like hearing your story. Cause like, it definitely is a story of like, just do it. Like if you want to do something, like figure out on how to do it yourself. And like, you can't be a success without failing first.
Absolutely.
And like after California Street, you could have easily been like, I don't want to do this,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
But you didn't, you fucking drove across country.
Yeah. You just keep going. Just keep going. It's like, it's not a big deal. Like you gotta be okay with that. It's like people too much emphasis on failure. It's not even a failure. It's just a chapter.
Yeah.
You just keep on trucking. I think My mom, that's a whole story, but she kind of instilled that in me. She'd always just be like, she had a fucking answer for everything, and 9 times out of 10 it was bullshit, not even a real answer. But she'd be like, oh yeah, you just do this and blah 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 blah, and she would just figure shit out. You know what I mean? And then I think I didn't know what I wanted to do, but when I did figure out what I wanted to do, all I'd do is just figure it out.
Yeah.
Like that kind of repetition instilled in me. And when my dad broke down to like, you know, are you going to be a wanter or are you going to be a doer? I was like, well, damn, I'm going to be a doer.
Yeah.
You know? And so I just, you just figure it out, you know, like, there's so many things I want to do. And like, you only have so little time.
Yeah.
So like, are you going to spend it wanting?
Yeah.
Or are you going to fucking spend it doing the thing?
Yeah.
So you just got to get after it, you know? Life is short.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. That's the only thing. I wish I could just live more of it.
Yeah.
You know? So I don't have any regrets. You know, there's things that I could have done different, but I don't know. I don't spend time thinking about that shit.
I think about that too, about like regrets, that word regret.
Yeah.
And I see it more as like, I don't have regrets. I have lessons.
There you go.
You know what I mean?
It's only a regret if you just do the same mistake again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I try to think about it in that way.
Yeah.
It's like, because you got to learn from it, you know?
Yeah, you just got to keep moving forward and run with those above you. If you want to be a race car driver, you better start making some friends that race cars, you know?
Yeah.
Just put yourself in that world.
Yeah.
You know, I think, like, if you want to be a tattoo artist, you better start going and getting tattooed.
Yeah.
You know, if you want to make music, you better go start listening to it, you know? Like,
yeah. Yeah.
I think it's just, I don't know, we're in this information age where you don't have to ask or wonder for anything.
Yeah, you know?
Like, you could just be like, let me Google it, you know?
Yeah.
I miss, like, the pre-internet facts. I miss, like, the lies. I miss, like, did you hear Marilyn Manson removed his ribs so he could...
Suck his own dick?
Yeah, I miss that. That's a way funner time.
Yeah.
But you can figure out anything now, you know? I think the problem now is, like, because, like, that's overwhelming for people in itself.
Yeah.
You know, where it's like, oh, wow, nowhere to start, you know?
Yeah.
Just one shoe at a time, I suppose.
Well, like I said, man, thank you. Is there anything you want to, like, plug or anything?
No.
No?
I love you.
I love you.
Love you too. I love you 3.
I love you 4.
Yeah, that's fun.